You think you're better than us? Tyler shouted, his face red with anger as he stepped closer to the new girl. The whole cafeteria went quiet. Everyone was watching. Keisha slowly looked up from her lunch tray. Her dark eyes stayed calm, but something flickered there. Something that looked nothing like fear. "I never said I was better than anyone," she said quietly. Tyler laughed loudly. "Then why won't you talk to us? Think you're too good for Riverside High?" He had no idea that, in just 2 minutes, he would be flat on his back while the whole school talked about what happened. The most shocking moment is coming up. Don't look away. What happens next will blow your mind. Before we go on, leave a comment and tell us where you're watching from. Hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe right now so you don't miss this story. The story starts on a cold Monday morning in the small town of Riverside, where old brick buildings lined quiet streets. The doors of Riverside High stood open as students walked in, their voices echoing in the halls. Among them walked a 16-year-old black girl with her head held high. This was Keisha Williams, and today was her first day at a new school. For Keisha, this was her third school in 2 years. Her dad, James Williams, was in the military, and the family moved a lot. Her mom, Sarah Williams, worked as a nurse and always tried to make each new place feel like home. But for Keisha, every move meant starting over and hiding who she really was. Keisha looked like any other student trying to fit in. She was average height with short black hair and wore simple jeans and a blue hoodie. When the teacher asked her to introduce herself, Keisha just nodded and spoke softly. She picked a seat in the back corner, hoping no one would notice her. But what nobody knew was that Keisha was hiding a big secret. Back in Texas, she had been the state champion in karate for her age group. She started training when she was 8 years old after some older kids picked on her little brother. For 6 years, she practiced every day. Her sensei always said she had natural talent and a fighter's heart. Keisha could break boards with her bare hands. She knew moves that could drop someone twice her size. In competitions, she was known for her lightning-fast kicks and her ability to stay calm under pressure. Other fighters respected her, and bullies learned to stay away. But the night before leaving Texas, her parents sat her down. "Sweetheart," her mom said, holding her hand, "in this new place, let's start fresh. Don't tell anyone about your karate skills. People might get scared or treat you differently. Just try to be a normal student." Keisha nodded, even though it felt wrong to hide such a big part of who she was. At lunch on her first day, Keisha sat alone at a table in the back of the cafeteria. She opened her lunch bag and tried to eat quietly. The noise around her made her feel lonely. She missed her old dojo in Texas, where she felt strong and respected. Here, she felt invisible. That afternoon, when she got home to their new apartment, her mom was unpacking boxes in the kitchen. "How was your first day, honey?" Sarah asked with a warm smile. "It was okay, Mom. Just like any first day," Keisha answered, not wanting to worry her parents. But inside, she felt empty. She missed feeling proud of who she was. That night, Keisha lay in her new bed, staring at the ceiling. She thought about her old life, where she wasn't just another quiet new kid. She was someone who stood up for others, someone who never backed down from what was right. But here in Riverside, she was just trying to blend in. Deep down, Keisha knew that staying invisible might not work for long. New kids often became targets for bullies, and she could feel some students already looking at her strangely. She whispered to herself, "Just stay quiet. Don't cause trouble. Everything will be fine." But another voice in her heart said something different. "You can't hide forever. When the time comes, you'll have to show them who you really are." The next day started normal, but Keisha could feel eyes on her as she walked through the halls. Whispers followed her. "That's the new girl. She's so quiet. Wonder what her deal is." At Riverside High, being different made you a target, and Keisha was definitely different. During lunch, Keisha tried to eat alone again, but this time she wasn't left in peace. A shadow fell across her table. She looked up to see a tall boy with messy brown hair and a mean smile. Behind him stood two friends, both grinning like they were about to watch a show. "Hey, new girl," the tall boy said, dropping into the seat across from her. "I'm Tyler Brooks. This is my school, and these are my buddies Jake and Matt." He slammed his hand on the table, making her milk carton jump. "I run things around here." Keisha set down her sandwich. "Nice to meet you. I'm Keisha." Tyler made fun of her name, stretching it out. "Keisha, where you from, Keisha?" "Texas," she answered simply. Jake laughed meanly. "Texas? You think you're some kind of cowgirl or something?" Keisha shook her head. "No, I just want to go to school like everyone else." Tyler's eyes got narrow. "See, that's the problem. We got rules here. New people need to show respect to the people who've been here longer, especially people who think they're too good to talk to us." Keisha felt a chill run down her back. She knew that tone. Bullies always sounded the same, like they owned the world and everyone in it. She started to stand up, wanting to leave before things got worse. But Matt put his hand on her shoulder, pushing her back down. "Where you going? We're not done talking." Keisha took a deep breath, trying to stay calm like her sensei had taught her. "What do you want?" Tyler leaned back with a nasty smile. "Simple. $10 a day. Think of it as a friendship fee. Pay up, and we'll make sure nobody bothers you. Don't pay?" He let the threat hang in the air. Keisha's hands turned into fists under the table. Her heart raced, not from fear, but from anger. She thought about her parents' words about staying out of trouble, but she also thought about every lesson her sensei had taught her about standing up to bullies. "I need to think about it," she said, meeting Tyler's eye or chuckled. "Smart girl, you got until tomorrow morning. And don't even think about running. To the teachers. My dad donates a lot of money to this school. They all love me." He stood up, his friends following. "Don't make this hard on yourself, Keisha. You really don't want to be on my bad side." Tyler's smile disappeared. The hallway got quiet as students stopped to watch. "That's too bad," he said. "I really hoped you'd be smarter than that." What happened next made Keisha's blood boil. Tyler grabbed her backpack and dumped everything out on the floor. Her books, pens, and papers scattered everywhere. Students laughed and pulled out their phones to record. "Oops," Tyler said with fake innocence. "Butterfingers." SS Keisha bent down. To pick up her things, Jake accidentally kicked her notebook, sending it sliding down the hall. More laughter. Matt stepped on her pencil case, crushing it. Tyler wasn't finished. He walked over to her table, picked up her lunch tray, and held it high in the air. "Maybe this will help her understand how things work around here." He flipped. The tray. Hot soup, pizza, and chocolate milk poured all over Keisha's clothes and the floor. The cafeteria erupted in laughter and cheers. Phones appeared everywhere, recording her humiliation. "Clean it up," Tyler demanded, standing over her. "Or maybe you need to call your mommy to come help you." The laughter got louder. Keisha sat perfectly still, staring at the mess on her clothes. Her heart pounded so hard she could hear it in her ears. Her hands shook, not from fear, but from pure rage that had been building for days. Slowly, she stood up. The room got quiet. When she looked at Tyler, something had changed in her eyes, something cold and dangerous. "You just made a big mistake," she said softly, but her voice cut through the silence like a knife laughed, thinking she was bluffing. "Oh, yeah? What are you gonna do? Cry? Run to the principal? Call your daddy?" Keisha didn't answer. She just picked up her backpack and walked toward the exit. But she could feel Tyler following her, still talking. "That's right, run away. Just like I thought. All talk, no action." The cafeteria doors swung shut behind them. They were now in the empty hallway, with just a few students watching from the doorway. Tyler grabbed her shoulder and spun her around. "I'm talking to you!" That's when something inside Keisha snapped. 3 days of humiliation, lies, and disrespect crashed over her like a wave. Her promise to her parents suddenly seemed less important than her promise to herself. The promise that she would never let anyone treat her like she was nothing. "Tyler," she said quietly, "I tried to handle this the peaceful way. I really did." "Handle what?" he laughed. "You haven't done anything." Keisha shook her head. "I didn't want to hurt you, but you just won't stop." Tyler moved closer, thinking he had her scared. "Hurt me? You? That's the funniest thing I've heard all day." He reached out to push her again, but this time, his hand never made contact. In one smooth movement, Keisha stepped to the side, grabbed Tyler's wrist, and used his own forward motion against him. 6 years of training kicked in like muscle memory. Tyler found himself flying through the air before he even understood what was happening. He hit the floor hard, the wind knocked out of him. The few students watching gasped. Jake and Matt, who had been laughing just seconds before, stood frozen with their mouths open. Tyler tried to get up, his face red with embarrassment and anger. "You little—" But Keisha wasn't done. As Tyler charged at her again, she dropped low and swept his legs. Down he went again, harder this time. "Stay down," she said calmly. "I don't want to hurt you more than I have to." But Tyler's pride was wounded. He got up a third time, swinging wildly. Keisha caught his punch with one hand, twisted his arm behind his back, and gently but firmly forced him to his knees. The hallway was dead silent, except for Tyler's heavy breathing. "Here's how this works," Keisha said, her voice steady and calm. "You're going to leave me alone. You're going to leave everyone else alone too. And if you ever try to humiliate someone like that again, I'll be there." She let him go and stepped back. Tyler stayed on his knees for a moment, too shocked to move. When he finally looked up at her, the cocky smile was gone. In its place was something new, respect mixed with fear. Word spread through Riverside High like wildfire. By the end of the day, everyone had heard about what happened in the hallway. The quiet new girl from Texas had just taken down Tyler Brooks, the school's biggest bully, without breaking a sweat. Students who had been recording on their phones shared the videos in group chats. But what surprised everyone wasn't just that. Keisha had won the fight. It was how calm and controlled she had been the whole time. She hadn't lost her temper or tried to show off. She had simply defended herself and made her point clear. The next morning, everything was different. When Keisha walked through the halls, students moved aside respectfully. Some nodded at her with new respect. Others whispered, but now the whispers were full of admiration instead of mockery. "Did you see how fast she moved?" one student said. "Tyler didn't even know what hit him," another added. "I heard she's been training since she was a kid." But the biggest change was in Tyler himself. His usual group of followers had scattered. Without his reputation as the untouchable bully, nobody wanted to be associated with him. He walked the halls alone, head down, trying to avoid eye contact with everyone. At lunch, something amazing happened. A girl named Emma, who had always eaten alone because Tyler used to pick on her, came up to Keisha's table. "Can I sit with you?" Emma asked shyly. "Of course," Keisha smiled. Soon, other students joined them. Kids who had been Tyler's victims, quiet students who had never felt safe to speak up, and even some popular kids who respected what Keisha had done. For the first time since arriving at Riverside High, Keisha felt like she belonged. "How did you learn to fight like that?" asked Marcus, a boy from her math class. Keisha hesitated for a moment, then decided there was no point in hiding anymore. "I've been doing karate since I was 8. I'm a state champion back in Texas. The table went quiet with amazement. Why didn't you tell anyone? Emma asked. My parents wanted me to start fresh here. They were worried people would be scared of me or treat me differently. Well, I'm glad you finally showed us, said Lisa, another girl at the table. Tyler needed to learn that lesson. But the story didn't end there. 3 days later, something unexpected happened. Tyler appeared at Keisha's locker before first period. He looked uncomfortable, shifting from foot to foot. Keisha, he said quietly, can I talk to you for a minute? She turned to face him, staying alert. What do you want, Tyler? I want to apologize, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. What I did to you was wrong. I've been thinking about it for days, and I realized I've been treating a lot of people badly. Keisha studied his face. He seemed genuine, not like he was trying to trick her. I don't know why I became such a bully, Tyler continued. Maybe because my older brother used to pick on me and I thought that's just how things worked. But seeing you stand up to me, it made me realize I was becoming someone I didn't want to be. Keisha nodded slowly. Apology accepted. But Tyler, it's not just about me. What about all the other kids you've hurt? What about their lunch money you took? Tyler's face turned red. You're right. I'm going to make it right with everyone. I've already started paying people back. Over the next few weeks, Tyler kept his word. He apologized to every student he had bullied. He paid back money he had taken. Slowly, he started trying to make friends the right way instead of through fear. Meanwhile, Keisha had become a hero to many students at Riverside High, but she didn't let it go to her head. When some kids asked her to teach them self-defense, she started an after-school club. She taught them not just fighting moves, but the philosophy her sensei had taught her. Martial arts isn't about hurting people, she explained to her new students. It's about protecting yourself and others. It's about having the confidence to do what's right. One afternoon, her parents came to watch the self-defense club practice. Sarah Williams had tears in her eyes as she watched her daughter teaching other kids how to stand up for themselves. After practice, her mom hugged her tight. I'm proud of you, Keisha. We asked you to hide who you were, but maybe we were wrong. Maybe the world needs to see the real you. Her dad nodded. Your sensei back in Texas would be proud too. You used your skills the right way, not to show off, but to protect yourself and help others. As the school year went on, Riverside High became a different place. Bullying dropped dramatically. Students felt safer. And whenever someone new arrived at school, they were welcomed instead of targeted. Keisha's story spread beyond the school, too. The local newspaper wrote an article about the teen hero who changed her school. A video of her teaching self-defense went viral online, inspiring kids in other towns to stand up to their own bullies. But for Keisha, the best part wasn't the fame or attention. It was the letter she received from her old sensei in Texas. Keisha, it read, I heard about what happened at your new school. You have honored everything I taught you. You used your strength to protect others, your skills to defend yourself, and your wisdom to know when to fight and when to show mercy. You are a true martial artist. Looking back, Keisha realized that trying to hide who she was had been the wrong choice. By being herself, strong, confident, and willing to stand up for what's right, she had not only protected herself, but helped create a better environment for everyone. The quiet new girl from Texas had become exactly what Riverside High needed. A hero who showed that sometimes the best way to make peace is to be ready for war, and the strongest people are those who use their power to protect others, not hurt them. Tyler learned that respect can't be demanded. It has to be earned. And Keisha learned that hiding your true self doesn't protect anyone. Sometimes the world needs to see exactly who you are.